What is going on, guys? Crowder here, and Season 4.5 Reloaded, the update just happened a couple days ago, and on top of that, they've had some car nerfs and superior nerfs after as well, and I am here to give you the best loadouts in Warzone Season 4.5 right now. And starting with the gun in my hands, the good old Car 98K, they've nerfed it quite a few times, and there's a lot of things that you can still do with this weapon that still kind of make it a #1 choice for a lot of reasons. Still a very fun gun, and overall, I figured I would still give you guys a loadout just in case you want some new attachments with all the nerfs and the buffs and all of that stuff. So here you go. On your screen are the attachments I would recommend using. The sonic suppressor is now probably necessary, especially on big map. The long barrel as well for the damage range. You can see that the damage range is still 75.6, which is really good if you're hitting those headshots. And then the high grain ammunition again to get that range and that velocity. And the things that you can kind of do that a little bit differently is this target sling is going to help your ADS. You can also put on the recon sling for flinch resistance if you don't like getting flinch when you're shooting and you don't really care about quick scoping. I like to play a little bit more quick scopey-esque kind of gameplay with the car, so I like to use the target sling. And then I've been on the fence of this SPX 80 6.6 scope and the rangefinder. I've kind of just used both. You can use the range caller optic, it's pretty good, and then the SPX as well. And I do like using the Senpai one, which is going to give you a pink dot, and it's just a nicer version of the SPX scope. But either way, a lot of people kind of prefer the SPX. So again, use what you want, but the Car 98K, even after the nerfs, still really good. It's not as good because you can't two-shot to the body, but if you're hitting those headshots with the sniper and you're good with the sniper, this is still a really good weapon. And now let's move on to a weapon that I've already made a short form about, and we were talking about this, and I do love this gun. I used to love it a lot more when the car wasn't an option, but still a very good replacement for the car if you're kind of over it. And it's going to be this build right here. It is the Morris Sniper. Still really good. Has really good one-shot headshot. Obviously, damage range is a lot better than the car. And with the tone heavy barrel, this feels more of like your traditional sniper version of it. And with these attachments right here, you're going to get the ADS speed and everything you need. And on top of that, I used to use quick bolt with this, but now I kind of just switched off the quick bolt because it really doesn't do much. And you still have a very good gun that feels like a regular sniper, and you can obviously hit your shots with it. Now, the one thing with this gun that's a little bit weird is that when you obviously look at the stats, the bullet velocity on this is not very good. And on top of that, it's just a little bit of a weird gun with the regular scope. I personally like that regular scope, but a lot of people will probably recommend using a different one, which would be the optic, and just overall kind of how you feel. I don't use this one on big map as much as I would probably use something like I would take off this rear grip and put on a different optic if I was playing Rebirth with this gun. But either way, I would switch over to this gun right here if I was playing on the big map. And a big thing about this weapon is when it's fully charged, the bullet velocity on this is not 144. It's basically all the way up to, I think, about 1400 or something around that sort. And the headshot damage is insane. You can headshot at people from all across the map. And this gun's basically like hit scan. So if you can get over the charge part of this barrel, this gun is elite. And I do like using the regular scope with it sometimes too. I had the 6.6 on it as well. I kind of go back and forth with the optic just because I get bored. But a lot of the optic is really going to be your personal preference of what you like as a scope the most and what you get used to. But either way, this gun right here, when you have it fully charged up, especially on big map, is going to feel basically like a hit scan. It's going to be really strong. You're going to be able to down your enemies for your team if you're playing with your teammate. Get a lot of intro kills and just overall get a lot of very reliable shots from this weapon. So if you're over the car, you can use this gun as well, and that's what the short form video is about as well. But either way, let's move on to the fun stuff, which is the new buffed and nerfed assault rifles that we need to talk about. And here on your screen is going to be something you probably haven't seen in a lot of videos, or I just haven't seen a lot of people using this gun. And I'm going to be making a video on my other channel of just using this gun in general as well. But it is going to be the Wrap H. Now, this gun is secretly insane, and it's not really a secret considering I'm telling you guys right now, but the time to kill on this gun right now compared to most of the automatic assault rifles and LMGs you can use is nuts. Look at this. And here you can see the TTK chart of basically all the best guns right now that a lot of people are recommending, and some of the guns I will even recommend to you. But you can see right now that the Wrap H at 40 meters all the way up to 57 meters is by far and beyond the best gun right now to choose from. And then if you go all the way to the end, it's still at 898 at 60.96 meters of a time to kill with a combination and to 300 HP. So the Wrap H absolutely drops your opponents when you are playing against them. It is a very easy gun to use, and it's definitely an underrated weapon right now that a lot of people have been kind of sleeping on because it's a Modern Warfare 2 gun. And with these attachments on it, it is very, very good. And the best part about this, it's an LMG, so it has a lot of bullets in the magazine. I added even a 100-round mag because why not? And you can add something like high velocity on it to put that bullet velocity in a very, very competitive place, if not a little bit more of an advantage. And even if you didn't like the 100-round mag on it, you can put like the barrel on this too to get even more bullet velocity, more range and damage range, and it is going to be so easy to use. You can see right here when you shoot the gun, the recoil pattern, basically non-existent. It is so easy. It hits hard. You are never going to miss a routine kill again with this gun. Between how fast it kills and how easy it is to use, and overall, probably one of the biggest sleeper picks in this video I'm showing you. Take a screenshot of this, try it out, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And next up, guys, is going to be the Holger 556. There's a couple of different ways you can build this. If you go here, that's actually not what I wanted to show you. There we go. I had the wrong one. If you want to build the Holger 556, I was using this the other day on stream on the big map playing solos and playing very, very well with it. This attachment combination, in my opinion, is by far the best. Now, the Holger 556 is weird because you can see on the stats that I just showed you, overall, it has a very good time to kill. It's very competitive, not one of the best time to kills you can kind of get. It only does have 40 rounds in the magazine, but if you look at the bullet velocity, competitive bullet velocity, but the control of this gun still has always felt a little bit weird to me compared to the Holger 26, which is just the LMG version of it, but this is a little bit stronger than the 26. So again, there's going to be trade-offs with these weapons, but this gun in general is a very fun weapon to use, and it's very fun to use on Rebirth as well, which I'll probably make a whole entire separate video on the best Rebirth Island loadout specific for that map as well, or obviously your Resurgence grinders out there too. But this gun's really good. These attachments make this recoil and just overall controllability, that's not a word, I just made it up, very good for this. The recoil control is manageable, hits like a truck, and a very good weapon to use. One more time, these are the attachments I would recommend. And yeah, there's another way to build this. I just had it on the screen as well. You can technically take off high velocity. You could put on that Spirit Fire, and you can put on that Jack Glassless, and this is not a bad way to build it as well. But when you do that, you do lose a little bit of bullet velocity, but you do get that scope on it, and it's going to be very, very easy to hit your shots too if you're not really into those iron sights. So there's two ways to build this gun. It's a very fun gun to use, very satisfying when you're absolutely slamming your opponents with it. And let's move on to the next. And the next gun is another Holger. And as I was saying, the difference between this is this gun doesn't kill as fast as that Holger 556. Not by much though, a few milliseconds apart. But this gun has 60 rounds in the magazine. And of course, you're able to put on that high velocity because you don't need to put anything else on it, which will give you crazy bullet velocity. And if you don't care about the bullet velocity and it doesn't fit your playstyle, you can just take this off and then, of course, put the Jack Glassless sight on or any optic of your choice on, and it'll still be really, really good. And if you want to see how this shoots, this just has a little bit less of a visual shake in the iron sights. You can see very accurate weapon, very straight shooting. And again, it's going to be like a Holger 556, but a little bit easier. So depending on your skill and just what fits your playstyle, another very, very good option that is 100% in the meta right now. And now for the next gun is going to be the MTZ 556. There's a bunch of different ways you can build this weapon in general. You kind of got to figure out what you like the most. I personally have been liking this build, which I'm going to show you right now. I actually don't like these attachments on this. This is the wrong class. I have so many different loadout classes right now. But if you put on these exact attachments right here, this is going to be a weird one because you're going to have the MTZ clinch pro barrel. It doesn't help your recoil, but it does help that bullet velocity. You can get away with using the Cassis brake, which helps the horizontal recoil on this weapon. And then on top of that, the Marauder stock is going to help with that recoil too. I do think the iron sights on this gun are really satisfying and very smooth, very easy to aim, so you don't need to use that Jack Glassless sight if you don't want to. Overall, a pretty easy gun to control. But if you don't like the iron sights, I would recommend probably either taking off that stock or again, maybe using that other barrel, which would be the Drifter long barrel. This does help with your control. And then of course you can kind of change it up from different ways of using high velocity, maybe, you know, taking off that stock, using that barrel, then using an optic. You can get a little crafty with this, but I've experienced a bunch of different builds with this gun. And overall, I think I've fallen in love with this one the most for the MTZ 556. It's a very fun weapon to use and definitely in the meta, as we've talked about, and it's got another buff. So again, try this gun out. Let me know what you guys think, and let's show you another MTZ class that's also in the meta right now. And that is your MTZ 762. It's back in action with a little bit of a buff. The one thing that sucks about this gun is it only has 30 rounds in the magazine. So this is not as good to use in your quads and your trios. This is more of a duos and solos gun. I was using it in quads the other day and I was having a lot of fun, but this gun is very easy to use, and just in general, you can get away with using an optic on it as well. If you want to take off this stock, you can throw the Jack Glassless optic or anything of the sort of what you really want. It's very, very easy to use. And on top of that too, the iron sights are also good as well because it's an MTZ. So if you want to see how this gun shoots, very, very easy recoil, very manageable recoil. Again, a very smooth shooting gun, I would say. But the one thing with this, it only does have 30 rounds in that magazine. And as you're shooting it, you probably could run out of ammo. Each bullet does hit like a truck, though, which is a very, very good upside of it. And if you look at the bullet velocity on this battle rifle, with no suppressor and no high velocity, you still have 975. So this is going to be an easy gun to shoot. It's very smooth. And it's in the meta. It's definitely an underrated one in my opinion right now, but definitely very fun to use. And let's move on to probably the last assault rifle, I think, before I show you some of the best SMGs. And here we are with one more really good weapon right now that is underrated. It is the BP-50, and you can use this in 16 billion different ways. This gun is so versatile with the way you build it. I know a lot of people don't like using the Bruin heavy support grip because you don't really need it. Some people feel you can use the optic instead of that. You can use ammunition with high velocity instead of other things as well. And there's just so many different ways you can kind of build this gun. Overall, when I use this gun, which I will be honest, I don't use this gun a lot compared to the other picks, just because for some reason this gun has just never been my vibe. But this gun does absolutely compete in the meta. It has good bullet velocity, and the one thing I do like about this weapon is that it is very, very easy to shoot with the recoil. You can see right here, it is going to have very good recoil. Even without a compensator and a suppressor on it, is going to basically have nothing to really kind of control. And as you're controlling the recoil, it's going to be very, very easy to use. But it does only have 45 rounds in that magazine again, so you kind of want to keep that in mind of why I truly think this gun has never been like your number one gun as an assault rifle. I do think if it had a 60 round mag, this thing would be insane. But either way, still a very good assault rifle in the meta after the season 4.5 update. And now let's move on to some close range. And now we're moving on to the SMGs. Really quick, a disclaimer for this video. The SVA Burst is also a very good long range weapon. I don't love it on the big map. That would be more of a Rebirth specific or Resurgence specific build in my opinion. So I might make again another video for the best builds for that kind of play style and that map and those maps and Rebirth and Vondel and all that. If you want that, of course, comment below and let me know. But either way, moving on to the best SMGs right now, the Superi, it's gotten a billion nerfs. Call of Duty's trying to nerf it and make it a little bit more balanced. I think they've done a decent job, but overall the Superi is still an insane time to kill. Even after the nerf, if you're hitting chest shots, you're still completely fine with the multipliers that they nerf, and you're still going to be able to drop your enemies. And the one thing that this gun has over every other gun right now, it is the movement speed. And you look at this right now, 8.2 movement speed. You can't compete with that. No SMG can compete with that. And when you're moving that fast and your ADS movement speed is also that fast, and this is not even an ADS kind of build, it's very hard for them to hit you. So even if you're not killing as fast, but you're moving so fast they're missing, you're still going to get those kills. So this is my number one Superi build. It always has been, and I'm probably never going to change up on it. You can definitely do some other things as well to fit your preference, but I think this is the best version of the Superi. You're running at the fastest speed that you can run. You're still dropping your opponents at a very good time, and your strafe speed is really, really good. Of course, you can throw on something like the cutthroat to make that strafe speed just absolutely astronomical and still move pretty fast, and there's other ways to build this, but this gun is still probably the number one SMG right now in Warzone. Now, talking SMGs, this one is not an SMG. The Warzone MCW with the conversion kit still has the fastest time to kill. It kills faster than anything that you can use, and you just can absolutely shred your opponents. And for you guys out there that don't like using movement and breaking cameras, and you don't like playing 50 hours a day and being super sweaty, this is probably the gun for you. Not only is it its fastest killing gun that you can really use, it's easy, it's slow, it's easy. You don't have to move really fast with it, and you can just kind of ADS. It has a good strafe speed with an assault rifle. You can see here just walking back and forth. And when you shoot this gun, it is a very controllable weapon that is not going to have that much of recoil and is going to absolutely drop people when you're ADS'd and you hit those shots. So if you want a reliable gun, easy to hit shots, and it's going to drop your opponents, this gun right here, in my opinion, you can use this on Rebirth. You can use this in Ranked, and 1 billion% you can use this on the big map as well. This is a very fun sniper support, a very good main SMG, and a very good pick when it comes to Warzone Season 4.5. And now for the last and final SMG that I think is in the meta, it's going to be the FJX Horus. Now, this is my second favorite build for this. I don't love this build. This is the new conversion kit build. If you use this conversion kit, you are on par with the Superi when it comes to damage and time to kill. But the problem with this conversion kit is that it slows you down to a 6.8 tactical sprint speed, which used to be pretty fast or pretty normal before, you know, the newer weapons have come out. You get the damage range, you get everything you really want, but you're not going to be moving very fast and aiming down sight fast, and your sprint to fire speed is not going to be that good either at 148. But you'll kill people pretty quickly, and that's nice. But again, that's kind of what the Superi does, but not as well. So again, this is not a very one of my favorable picks, but I do love shooting this gun because it is so satisfying with the little bit amount of recoil that it has. And again, if you're not someone that cares about any of the movement, this gun is the real deal, and you can really do a lot of damage with it. So it's still a fun weapon to use. But if you don't like this version of the FJX, I would recommend using this version of the FJX. And the only thing that's different here, no conversion kit here. Up to 12 meters, you will kill a little bit faster than the Superi. But after that 12 meters, this gun's drop off is pretty significant. And you're not going to run as fast. You'll still be moving pretty quickly at 7.1, which again, before the Superi was out, that was really fast. So this is a good weapon. It has no iron sight because you're using the optic on it. And just in general, a very easy gun to use that's not the Superi, and it is still 1,000,000,000% in the meta. If you're an aggressor and you like playing really close range fights, this is probably actually a better pick than the Superi, so it really goes on playstyle. But again, it's nice to have something that has an optic on it, not iron sights. You don't have to rely on movement, and you can just use something that's going to kill people pretty quickly, shoot really fast, and just be an overall really good pick. So I think the FJX Horse is a very fun gun to use. I find it to be very satisfying and just overall a 100% meta pick right now in Season 4 Reloaded. So yeah, guys, that is going to wrap it up for the best loadouts right now in Season 4 Reloaded after all the crazy updates and the nerfs and the buffs and all of that stuff. Hopefully this helps you out. If you guys want a Rebirth and Resurgence specific loadouts, because those can look a little bit different with some different weapons and of course some closer range builds and some different prioritization on some other, you know, ADS and sprint to fire speeds and stuff like that, you let me know and I will get that video out for you guys. Just drop a comment down below, and I hope you guys enjoyed this information. I hope it helps you get a little bit better at Call of Duty, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.